The landscape of media has changed. At one point in time, there was nothing but newspapers. Then there was the TV news. But now, everybody's online, telling this and telling that, giving information, misinformation, misguiding people. So I guess I got to change with the time because everybody has. Welcome back to Everybody Has a second episode.
Podcast.
Oh, and second episode. So we're going right. Okay, busy weekend, opening weekend for high school football across the state of Tennessee. There were Thursday games, Friday games, and Saturday games. I got to all three. You were able to get to one because you had a obligation with RUF, getting ready to say goodbye to college life. So did you have fun?
Yeah, it was a good time. You know, I love where you live, so.
What y'all do? Just pray and preach and stuff?
No, we went rafting. We went whitewater rafting.
Oh, so Christians do know how to have fun. Okay. It's important to say that because it might make a person become a Christian. Okay. But Thursday night, you got a chance to see the season kick off with Mumford and NBA. What was your impression of that game?
I feel like Mumford is they're pretty good. I wouldn't say, I don't know. I feel like the way that they played NBA isn't like a good, like it doesn't really show how good they are because NBA is smaller than them, you know? So if they went against somebody like maybe their size or bigger, that's how you can really judge if they're gonna, have a good season or not.
Okay, it was 39-0 by the end of the first quarter. They ended up scoring 62 points. Now, NBA, as a small school, displayed that they got some firepower. A couple players, a couple athletes on their team. I think they got the transfer quarterback from East. He was moving the ball around. But Mr. Williams, number 7, he's a family friend of yours. You're familiar with him.
Kamani Williams.
Kamani Williams. What was your impression of him?
He's really good. He literally plays every position. No joke.
Kickoffs.
He played every quarter. He was always out there. He was the kicker.
Linebacker, defensive back on defense. Yeah.
He did everything. He did quarterback. He played quarterback at one point. He's done every position. So.
And he had enough energy to run 2 long touchdown runs, which we'll see later on in this podcast with the Liyah lens. But yeah, phenomenal young man. But this is my closing impression on Mumford. They got to shore up some things on defense. They missed some assignments. They looked a little bit out of place. Coach Calhoun pointed that out after the game. But they do have their own home run threat with Mr. Bryson Turnage. A couple big runs, big plays from him. Tay Starks is just warming up. Quay Bell, opening play, big touchdown run. So they got the firepower. They got the M&M Bowl coming up this week against your beloved Millington Trojans. They'll be down there in Millington Friday for a 7 p.m. kickoff. And we'll see as they step up with a 4A team, can they keep it rolling. But check out these highlights from the NBA Mumford game. With our second game Friday night, you're at around the Tennessee-Georgia border at this time, hanging out with your friends and getting a good spiritual, workout yourself. So, and I'm working. I'm at Brighton and Pier. The private boarding school out of Memphis makes the trip up to Tipton County. Good defensive battle. A lot of mistakes for a first game by both teams, but then a couple big plays by Pier, 2 long touchdown passes. they got some athletes and they can compete. They will have a tough schedule because they have to go on the road every week. And Brighton, it was a good growing up moment for them, those young Cardinals. Now, what impressed me about them, Reggie Holmes, a freshman, he made a big defensive play, knocking the ball loose, and it got scooped up by his teammate for a long touchdown run. So I saw a lot of potential in Brighton. Coach Settler needs a couple years to get this thing smoothed out, iron out the wrinkles, and let his team grow and mature together. So there's going to be some lumps they're going to take, but they're going to grow together. And you remember something like this while you were in high school with McCoy Pugh, Adrian Bugdale, and those guys who they were getting their heads knocked in as babies, and then they grew up. What do you remember from that process of maturing?
It just takes time for you to like learn, like to grow as an athlete. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to learn the game and learn how to improve in the game, right? So it's like some people are naturally gifted and some people are just coached well. So it does depend on natural ability and coaching, and like the combination helps the team be successful.
Now there's something else you can relate to. While you were in high school, you did band.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all went through a coaching change in the middle of your band stay after your sophomore year?
Yeah, after my sophomore
So 2 years you were under Miss Woodring, and then Mr. Smith comes in. You had to adjust. Brighton kids, now Coach Sellers in his third year, they're starting to know him. Yeah. But a lot of them had to go through adjustments for so long. How important is it to have that same leader?
It's more about like comfort, because it's not really easy to like change, especially if you like a certain person or you're used to a certain person. Like you see this person almost every day, or you know how they like to teach and their way of teaching and all that stuff. So when it changes, you have to get used to that new coaching or that new teaching style. Like the same thing that happened in choir. Like I wasn't in choir when the other choir director was there, but
Miss Ellis, yeah.
But when Miss Thomas came in, a lot of people that were already in choir didn't really like her or liked how she taught because they were used to Mr. Ellis. But me, that was my first choir teacher, so I was just used to how she was teaching. So some people will probably just naturally adjust, especially if that's their first coach, and they just have to learn to adjust to it.
Well, Cornelius Douglas is the senior leader on the Brighton Cardinals. He came back to the team because of Coach Settler. Those Brighton middle kids that were so powerful last year, most of them came up to Brighton High School. They didn't go to Covington, they didn't go to Mumford. They came there for a reason, because they believe in Coach and what he's building and that coaching staff. So give Brighton time. And then these highlights you have to check out will be more Brighton highlights in the near future.
Number one pass complete on the fourth period.
Now our third segment, and so Saturday night, I want to go take a nap, I want to rest, but it was a very important event in Millington, Tennessee. They're celebrating their 100th football season. I think Bartlett High School and Millington both started in 1926, and Millington realized this is the 100th season, not the 100th year. And great job by Tony Johnson, Mark Healy, the Pursers, all of them behind the scenes putting together a wonderful event that came together around about 4 o'clock at the Millington Performing Arts Center. It was a museum of Millington football history from 1926, that first team, all the way to the current team photo of the 2025 Millington Trojan. One word, overwhelming. Very overwhelming. Seeing all the former great players that I covered for the last 22 years, a lot that you went to school with and remember in recent years was back in town, and you were out of town. But the band was recognized, cheerleading was recognized, so all of y'all who played a part in that black and gold experience were mentioned in this important celebration. What does it mean to you? Because you are a part of that as a band member.
I just think it's really cool that like you can like see your school's history and how it started. Like I didn't even know that the building I went to school at was not the original building. So to learn that like that's not the original building, it's like, oh wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, you were born in 2003. The new building was opened in December 2004. So how would you know? So,
I know. Yeah, I did not know anything about that, and it's just really cool to see like my city like grow and expand. Like even with like the stores and all that stuff that are like open and stuff, it's just nice to see it like change and be brought into the 21st century.
Well, a lot of people who were back in town were amazed at what's going on Highway 51, but all the changes around the campus, the new turf field and new scoreboard, they're like, our school's being taken care of. It's in good hands with Michael Perry, the principal. You got Beth Hill, athletic director, Hank Hawkins, Bo Griffin, Martin. I would be remiss if I hope I hadn't forgotten anybody, but the school board out there in Millington, they're doing a lot of wonderful things, and they work together as a community. That's why this event went so well. We had barbecue. They got to have some good barbecue, the catering, but just to see just dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of former football players come back, there was a lot of hugs, a lot of memories. Did you know that your original school colors were black and orange, not black and gold?
Yeah, you told me recently, so yes.
And you're not happy about that?
I am happy that it used to be that color and it's not
orange.
I do not like orange.
And y'all didn't come to Trojans until the 1940s.
What were we before that?
Y'all just a team out there playing football, so.
Oh, no mascot.
I guess I got to check with Mark Healy to make sure y'all didn't have a previous nickname. Just like now, the one school we have in common, the University of Memphis, we were West Tennessee Normal School. Mm-hmm. Then we were all girls school and a nursing school, I think, a teaching school, 1912. And then this is so lame. We played a football game. We fought like tigers, and that's how we got the generic nickname Tigers. Everybody's a tiger.
Really? That's how it.
Yeah, this is folklore of that. So it's good to know your history and everything. So the big night, great moments, great celebration. I saw my friend Gerard Love. I got to send him a shout out like a brother to me. Just so many just great moments. Then we kick off the football, and it's a first game jitters for both teams. Fairleigh Bulldogs, who were orange and black, fittingly, were in town. It's a slugfest and sloppy mistakes on both sides. Then Fairleigh gets a couple scores. They go 16-0 before half. And then a couple turnovers from Millington seem to take their energy away. Young team. I think 40 to 50 players on this roster are either sophomores or freshmen. Yeah. And that took their mental, their gumption out. And Fairleigh poised, one of the powers in 2A football. And they are sizable kids. When you see the highlights, you can see how big and athletic they are. Took care of business 44-6. So ended the night not so well for the Trojan faithful. But your prediction, you were bold enough to say that Cole Hawkins, the sophomore, a little undersized, should be the guy behind center, threw a 75-yard touchdown pass to John Thomas, freshman, who's going to be a special athlete. I said it here first. So you sticking with your Hawkins pick?
I mean, it's just obvious. Why would I change it? When the proof is in the pudding. But I also would like to say, like, when was the last time Millington had a quarterback, like, that started, that was, like, upperclassmen? Because I feel like most of the quarterbacks are younger. And they start as, like, a freshman or a sophomore. And Tommy was like that. McCoy was like that.
Elvin Timms, the all-time leading passer in Millington history, he started at Trent. Freshman, 4 years. Tommy comes in 4 years. McCoy comes in. And Cole came in last year. Mm-hmm. So it could be fitting, but you know, you want the size and the athletic ability itself out there. So we'll see how it plays out. They still got some things to work out. Mumford's coming to town for the M&M Bowl. With that steamroll offense, they just going to keep it simple, run at you and tell you to stop it. And we're going to see if Millington can stop it this week, because that's where our game highlights will be coming on the third edition of Everybody Has A. But that's looking ahead too far. Let's just look back at the Fairleigh Millington highlights. now we're getting ready to close out. We got 2 more things we need to take care of. Your Dynamic Power 10 going into week 2. Got a fresh new top 10 after week 1 of action. Then we're going to close out with Liyah's Lens. But cheat over here and find out who we got ranked number 10 this week. St. Benedict. They picked up a 20-13 win over FACS. 1-0. They have Lake County coming up. They're our number 10 team, St. Benedict. At number 9, Arlington. They're 1-0 after beating Raleigh, Egypt. Pharaoh Payne, 49-6. They put a beat down on my Pharaohs. They have Memphis East coming up this week. Number 8, the Briarcrest Saints. The Saints came marching in against ECS and picked up a 48-28 victory. They have Kirby coming up, and we're going to see how good Kirby is. They're in Millington's league. People are picking them to do pretty good this year. Number 7, St. George's, 1-0. They got Hardin Academy coming up. A 41-8 win over Collinwood. Big win to, hey, is St. George's back? 41-8. It looked like they got some firepower this year. Now we jump into number 6, the MUS Owls. Okay, they got North Point Christian coming up this week, but will they be riding high off the Hail Mary last-second touchdown to beat Bartlett 23-17? That's a high for a first game. Will they be able to process that and start to have a good season here? But North Point is going to have something to say about that. Okay, now we're in our top 5. The Christian Brothers, Purple Wave, 1-0. They have White Station coming up. They picked up a 61-7 win. Woo, over Fairware. We said the brothers could be back this year. I think they're trying to make a statement. Now, our top 4. A legit top 4 that I think we have here because we had them ranked last week, all 4 of these teams. At number 4, 1-0, the aforementioned Mumford Cougars. You said you wanted to express something about those Mumford Cougars.
I just thought it was very smart the way that they punted. Question mark? Was that the punt or was that kickoff return?
Oh, the kickoffs.
Kickoffs. Their kickoff, like especially the first one. It's low key like a circus almost. It's just a bunch of distractions. They got one guy running this way, the other guy coming this way. You don't know who's kicking until they get to the ball. You think the one in the middle might be kicking, and then they kick it. You're like, oh my gosh, where'd the ball go? I feel like it was very smart on their part to do the kicks like that, but it's kind of like mean a little bit too, because I'm like, dang, you just want to throw them off. Yeah. Like that bad? Like, dang.
Hey, the ball's live once it goes 10 yards. Anybody can get it. Anybody's ball. And they proved that they can kick it to the end zone for a touchback, so they're doing it by design. Yeah. But do you think Coach Chris Michaels is watching our program right now and he's taking notes?
I hope he is.
You try to give him a little game.
I hope he is.
Okay, Coach Michaels, have your hands team out there at all times. You got the film. Mumford is very deceptive on that kickoff.
They are.
Coach Calhoun likes to play around with their experiment. You never know which direction it's coming, but that's our number 4 team. They got Millington this week. Number 3, the big showdown between Germantown and Houston. Germantown made a statement. They beat their rivals 44-23. Houston's young this year. They'll be there in the end, but Germantown's there right now. Hey, Coach Gene Robinson, like he had his boys rolling coming out the gate. And number 2, 1-0, our number 2 team from last week, the Covington Chargers, took care of Lakeland Prep 56-21. Big game this week for them, Haywood, the Tomcats. Great rivalry game. West Tennessee supremacy is on the line. The Battle of the Purples is on the line, and whoever comes out this game wins could have some higher rankings across the state. And at number 1, Collierville. The Dragons took care of East Nashville Magnet 28-14. Once again, they're playing like a national schedule. They have Oxford, Mississippi coming up. So we'll see. They are playing a tough schedule out there. Coach Riccone has his boys rolling. Mr. Autry, 2 touchdowns, and he played both quarterbacks in that win. They passed for a combined 194 yards. So they're looking pretty good out there in Collierville. And that's our Dynamic Power 10. Once again, thank you to Dynamic Physical Therapy for the wonderful job. Wonderful staff. Very personable on the sideline when you run into some of the members, especially this young lady out there in Mumford. She does a wonderful job. Hey, she went to 3 state tournaments taking care of those kids. So Dynamic Physical Therapy, we're giving you a shout out. As we wrap up, everybody has a second episode, but everybody doesn't have Liyah Lens. We're going to check out some of her highlights from the Mumford NBA game, and we'll see you next week.